Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Wrong Ones podcast. How are you?
Not
All
bad,
good, man.
not bad. Hello to everyone. How you guys?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Nice Sunday afternoon. Though I'll have to be honest, I'm sleep deprived. I spent most of last night trying to watch this game, hoping some positive will come out of it. But it's what it is. As things stand, like we've noticed,
Sleep deprived
Australia
and
had
hope deprived.
and hope deprived as well. Absolutely, yes, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah,
400
yeah.
plus runs, man.
Yeah, it's one of those days, but yeah, really quickly, day two, we were really hoping some positives for Team India, but fortunately or unfortunately, Australia had a day at the office, 405 for seven of 101 overs, obviously, Travis said, did what he does? I think he's just having probably the form of his life, scoring runs for fun, and then Steve Smith joined the party as well. The one player we were hesitant and kind of thinking about someone who shouldn't be coming to the form as soon as possible, but unfortunately, he hit the form yesterday, and obviously made a difficult day for Indian bowlers. So really quickly, right, like kind of looking into day two, maybe we should start with how the day kind of started for India. Obviously, a lot of hopes on Bumrah and the fast bowlers Siraj and Akashdeep. Obviously, the one thing I've noticed is Rohit kind of opting for Akash to kind of start as well alongside Bumrah. Two early wickets. It's sort of the start we kind of all anticipated with the ball in hand with someone like Bumrah. Your quick thoughts on that, Amar?
Yeah, I thought India started the day very well. They were on bowling wicket to wicket, and they were bowling really good lengths as well.
Sure.
So we could see that there were nicks going on, and then going through the slips couple of times, and of course we got the caught behinds as well. But they were really onto the line and length, so it was a really good start. Bumrah obviously leading from the front, and Akashdeep as well. He was very very good today. A bit unfortunate, but he was really good. That's what I thought looking at him. Positive start, but then after lunch, it looked like that Australia um, saw off, the difficult times, and it was time to capitalize for them. And
Mm.
that's when we saw Stephen Smith, playing his shots, and also Travis Head. Um, it almost felt like they were waiting for Indian bowlers to go off mark a little bit, just a tiny hint of it, and then they would capitalize on it. And that's what they did. Um, After a brilliant century from Travis Head, and Stephen Smith coming back to form, getting runs as well, it looked like the stage was set. And then later on, Alex Carey came in and he scored almost a run ball 45. So that kind of broke India's back as well. Um, but all in all, Australia's day. Um, India should have taken more wickets. We'll do deep dive into why it didn't happen. But as of stands, Australia have upper hand right now. In the sense, also, if you look at the partnership between Stephen Smith and Head, it almost like they complemented each other. Um, Stephen Smith, he was like, his batting was helped by Travis Head's attacking innings. Maybe he was free to play his own shots, rotate the strike as he would like to play, and that helped him as well. And um, of course, like I'm saying, that it's hand in hand. But maybe Travis Head doesn't need anyone's support, but it looks like they both gel well very together.
No, absolutely right. That's a great point you made, right? Before we get into probably the details of Smith and Travis had in detail, Punk, your thoughts on India's bowling in terms of the way they started and obviously how it progressed throughout the day.
So, okay. Oh, in terms of the first few overs, like me and Amar watched it together. We saw the three wickets going down, close to 12 o'clock. We started UK time.
Yeah.
So first half an hour, they were bang on. Akash and Bumrah, right? They were not giving an inch for them to till Travis Head came, and from there, what I feel like they took some time, like especially with Steve Smith, and he was able to land. Bumrah was then taken off. You had like Nitish, who did well in the first few overs. Like he really controlled the innings. He was doing well, and again, it's just after the first session, right? The second session is where there is this Rohit. I feel like he's taken a backseat after the New Zealand series. We need to scrutinize in terms of his captaincy, right? And if you see, like just to summarize the entire session, right? So there was like 90 plus overs bowled, and Bumrah bowled 25 overs, right? That's like a lot for your premium bowler, right? You cannot, so it's just Bumrah or no one else, right? You cannot rely on your premium. Your premium bowler you bring in only to take wickets, right? So when he came in the second session, right, the ball was old, right? He didn't take any wickets. Again, when the ball changed after 80 overs, when he got the new ball, he came back. He took those quick 2 wickets, Steve and Head. So, Rohit has to, like, being the captain, right? He needs to, preserve Bumrah's, and, always, he shouldn't be bowling 25 overs, right? He needs to rotate the other bowlers from the other side. And, if they're not able to take wickets, then at least try to, set a field where you are able to, like, control the runs. So when Bumrah comes in, he's fresh and he's able to take those wickets, even in, like, when the ball is old. He can reverse swing. He's got the Yorkers. But if a tired Bumrah, right, if you see the second session, his speed was less compared to where he's always the
It
135
definitely dropped.
plus
Yeah.
to 140. So it dropped by a few kilometers, right? So I feel like and I told you, like, in this you needed a Harshit Rana because you need to hurry up batsmen because of the bounce. Nobody is 140 plus consistently, right? And even like Siraj or Akash, right? The highest they go is 130.
Yeah.
Sometimes they might touch 140, but that's it. Nobody's 140 plus, right? You needed one pace bowler on this wicket, right, to hurry up, get that into short bursts of like bouncers. That did not happen, and because you didn't have the arsenal in your bag, to exploit that conditions.
Yeah.
So yeah, overall we will get into details of how Rohit's captaincy, and in terms of Bumrah, again, his whatever he has, like, he's taken out and he's done a lot. India would have been struggling now. It would have been like some maybe 2 or 3 wickets if Bumrah was not there. So 7 wickets
Absolutely
is
right.
all Bumrah's thing. So
Yeah, no, I think kudos to the GOAT, right? Obviously, what he's been doing, and again, another, like, 5 for him, 5 for 72 in his 25 overs. That's a good point
yeah,
you made, right? But I'm just wondering, like, the amount of overs that Bumrah had to bowl. Like, obviously, now I'm not in Rohit's shoes, and obviously we don't know what he was thinking. But do you think he's kind of pushed into, like, forcing Bumrah to bowl more overs? One being, could be Travis Head's, like, counter attack in batting, or was it also a mix of Siraj not having the sort of day he should be having, and obviously there's a lot dependent on him. And then the flip side, right? I was actually watching this on live. For some reason, this is purely my observation. I also felt Jaddu wasn't up to the mark either. He bowled a lot of short balls. You know, he's not kind of pitching up, and obviously not sort of getting the purchase. We would have hoped, like, the Jaddu generally gets that wicket to wicket, and, like, trying to get some bounce. So obviously, all of a sudden you can see there's some free flow of runs. Do you think some of this kind of triggered, like, someone like Rohit to go back to spin bowler and try and, like, break the partnership in some way or the other?
Yeah, absolutely right. And also, this is a function of of taking responsibility as well. As we've seen from the first match, when Rohit was not here in Australia, he was the captain. Bumrah was the captain, really.
Sure.
So, and he's already taken the responsibility of the team. Now, when he has come back, and he knows that, Rohit Sharma has come back, and still we can see that Bumrah is the go-to bowler, and he's the premier bowler. He's doing the things right, and he's taking wickets. So, one thing is that Rohit Sharma is turning to him because no one else is producing the wickets. for whatever reason. Maybe they are not being used properly, or the tactics are not applied as they should be. But it turns out that in the end, Bumrah is the guy who's taking wickets. So even Bumrah is saying, okay, I know the team is looking at me, and I know that I'm producing the wicket. So let's, I would want to bowl. That's what he would be thinking. But yeah, you guys are right that there has to be a proper bowler's management for if you have a premier bowler, you have to preserve him. Especially in the previous match, he had that groin niggle a little bit, but he came back and he's still bowling, and he's bowling fast. He started that. So there was a need to preserve him as well. Also, I agree with Punk's point that you needed that 140 bowler who would put pressure on the batsman with that high pace, regardless of if there is a seam movement or not, if there is a green pitch or not. You need a pace bowler is a pace bowler. You always have that arsenal. You will always benefit from that. So that didn't happen because Rana was taken off the team sheet this time. And also saying that Akashdeep didn't bowl badly, but then again, we needed this X factor. X factor is needed in such situations. On the other side, talking about Jaddu, when you're saying he was also off mark, his ball was a little bit shorter, and the batsmen didn't really, they were not really troubled by his bowling, and they were playing him easily. And I would have thought that when we were talking about the team selection, I said, okay, we'll continue with the same team. And being Harshid Rana, 140 was one of the points we raised. And with Ashwin, I thought they should have kept Ashwin because he had produced a chance against Travis Head, who has always been a trouble for Indian for the Indian side. So again, you can see that. Again, he was from after the initial period, he was able to score freely again. Indian bowlers for a couple of overs, they tried short ball against Travis Head, troubled a little bit, but I don't know why they didn't continue with that. But then after that, he was able to freely score freely, and I would have thought, okay, if Ashwin had produced a chance in the last match, surely he, some way or the other, he will be able to produce that chance again. So they should have stuck with him as well. But I mean, now we have Jaddu. So Jaddu has to correct his length a little bit. And also Akashdeep, he was really, really unlucky. He bowled well early on as well. Got a couple of nicks, but then it flew between the slip fielders. So I would say, luck should favor us in the next innings, and then probably we'll have better result. But yeah, all in all, not a good day for Indian bowlers.
Absolutely right, sir. Pankaj, anything you want to add on Jaddu and the unfortunate situation with Akashdeep? I personally felt like he was unlucky. Some of the
he was very unlucky.
Yeah,
absolutely, and like his length,
number of times
his
he actually
line.
managed to beat someone like Steve Smith and still not produce something out of it.
Yeah, and they were playing with soft hands as well, so some of the slip, it fell just short of the slip fielders, right? So
yeah,
I have a feeling like Rohit took a backseat in this game completely, right?
But
his tactics of shifting bowlers around and not keeping your premium fast bowler, he needed to make sure that if somebody is set, then Bumrah comes in for like a quick 2 maybe 3 overs spell, and then and then come back again. So that would actually give a bit of a chance in between, because if the batsman is set and is trying to hit, like say Travis Head, right? If they try to hit Bumrah, there's a good chance that you would get wickets. But if you continuously bowl Bumrah for 5 to say 6, 7 overs, what happens is, that, okay, once he's gone, then I have the rest of the bowlers, I'm going to smack them around. So then the next, say 15, 20 overs, you are there. So you're talking about close to say, 70 to 80 runs at a run rate of 4. So they scored 241 runs from, 75 for 3, right? Ridiculous, right? With Bumrah being there, and, not So I definitely believe it's something is wrong with Rohit. He needs to, really, like do something about his captaincy, right? Which bowlers when to bowl. He has to have some, like with Akash and Siraj as well, right? He could have told them like hold up the ends till we get Bumrah again for like 3 4 overs. We might get those wickets, right? So there's and that's why I'm going back to Perth, right? If you see Bumrah and if you see the analysis, what I've told in the first test itself, right? He was very good, like in terms of his every 3 4 overs he was changing Harshit, bringing Siraj, then bringing Nitish, then Washi. It's just like he's going on changing those bowlers. Like he would never give like long spells of 7 8 overs, right? And got one of the ball out of the attack completely. That if you do that, then and the Australians know the only one guy who can trouble them is Bumrah, right? We don't
And
have a fast ball of 140
yeah,
plus,
and
right? So nobody can trouble them. So
yeah, and one point I would like to throw in here is this is a 5 match series.
yeah,
Your premier bowler was troubled with a niggle in the previous game, and you don't bowl 25 overs him in this match. So I mean, there are two more games to go after this, so you have to be careful.
But saying that,
and
right,
like
Punk made a good point, and something I've noticed on air as well, right? That particular spell from Siraj, right? He bowled almost like 7 hours on the dot, and the eighth over when he was about to bowl, that's when he picked up something on the second delivery, and then he had to walk away. Unfortunate, right? Then
Yes.
Akash had to fill in. So those long spells, obviously, it's not ideal for fast bowlers. One, two, compared to day one, the temperature yesterday, it's a lot hot in terms of the temperature, and
there's
obviously
30
that
plus or
doesn't help
something,
fast
yes.
bowlers, right? In those conditions, bowling 7 8 hours on the rod is never ideal for a fast bowler. But in Rohit's defense, again, not being too critical about some of his decisions, but again, maybe I think his view was won the toss. He took this massive risk of obviously putting Australia into bat. You already lost most of the day one, day two started off well. So now he wants to capitalize and try and get those quick wickets. Unfortunately, things really didn't pan out the way he was hoping. But flip side to what Rohit and the team did, right? You obviously can't deny what Travis said and Smith managed to do, right? Credit to especially Travis, like Ravi Shastri pointed out on air. He is like Travis' headache for all the Indian fans at the moment. Yeah. The amount of runs he scores and how easily he was scoring. Like it's just didn't feel like he was troubled for a minute at any point. Even with Siraj, the amount of uh, pressure he tried to put on him, really going in his head. But he just went for the head and obviously
Yeah, at times it looked like he was showing off as well.
yeah, absolutely right. He's none of this sort of matters to me anyway. But again,
Yeah, exactly.
you can't deny it, right? And a guy scored at when a 95 strike, right? So I just looking at the scorecard right now. He scored 152 and 160 deliveries with 18 boundaries.
Whoa.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So maybe
Absolute,
a word on
absolutely
He
brilliant
is a
batsman.
headache actually, but it's a good player, And
Yeah.
see, the thing is, he attacks, right? And that's where, the captain and the bowlers will lose the line and length, right? So they have to come up if something is planned, right? It's not that, the bowlers haven't planned against him, right? It also depends on what strategy you have against him. Like if you're like blocking just once, okay, let's bowl off and let's block him. Like if he wants to like pull the ball, you just keep 1 or 2 fielders on the leg and have field settings in such a way that so
Yeah.
test match, test matches, that's the reason why we have test match. It's not a one day where there's no option for a captain, right? But when you come to test match, right, you have to test the batsman, right? So try to bowl in the places where it'll be difficult for him,
won't be
right?
comfortable.
They sprayed around, the bowlers. If you look at the stats, they've just sprayed around. They've just lost head, like in terms of where to bowl, what to bowl to head. It's just like he's a nemesis. They understand, right? It's only for Bumrah, and when Bumrah was not like really tired, you can't expect it. And when he got the new ball, he came back fresh. He took his wicket, right? So
Yeah. And
the thing is, like, you have to keep Bumrah fresh. You can't have like those 7 8 overs, right? Uh, it's just something which Rohit needs to see for Siraj or even Akashdeep, right? See, if it was just a 4-bowler attack, right, which generally India used to go because of the keeping the batting lineup long, you have a 5-bowler attack, right? You have to, make sure one of the bowlers is an anchor, and you're rotating all those 5 bowlers, or at least having the spinner, right, in one side, right. Even for Jaddu, for example, right, if he was giving that ball, right, then set the field based on, so that, okay, because it's a second-day pitch. It's a greenish pitch. Though it's no cracks, so naturally you won't get any wickets from Jaddu, right? But he could hold up, right? So you have to set up a field in a way that you just getting like 2 or 3 runs per over, or not those boundaries. And then at the other end, then you can rotate your 4 bowlers and you give them the spots, a burst of 4 overs each, and then you would have seen more wickets coming through.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then,
And
and if the spread is, if the sorry, just 1 second. So if the for Jaddu, if the field was spread, right, then they would have taken more chances on the Jaddu side, good chances for getting a catch on the boundary as well. So these are some tactics which this is where I see Rohit not being hands-on. I think so after the New Zealand series, this is going to be his 5th match on a trot, right? And he's not being hands-on. Maybe he's like, he doesn't want to play test, could be one reason. But if that's the case, then it's good to pass on the baton to Bumrah for the next test match, and let Bumrah continue.
Yeah,
that's a
You
big
have to
call.
be
That's
hands-on
a
in a
big call.
test match.
Too
Is
far
test
ahead,
match,
right? Obviously, we don't know
No,
what's
but
going to
I'm
happen.
just telling you, we are openly discussing this,
Yeah.
and you could see his tactics, right? It was really wrong, and your premier fast ball. If Bumrah gets injured now, what happens to the next 2 tests?
I agree, right?
Yeah,
Obviously, we'll kind of look at upcoming days. But Amar, maybe quickly a word on Travis Head in terms of his scoring. Anything you want to add?
I was just about to put this point here that Pankaj talking about playing test and what a bowling side should be doing in a test. Like the bowling side should be figuring out what a batsman weaknesses are, and test the batsman with that,
Yeah.
really. And
Absolutely.
what we saw was on the flip side, what we saw was Travis Head and Stephen Smith as well. Both of them played or batted like a proper test batsman. Initially they dealt with the difficult balls. They came over that, and then they capitalized on the little bit off color bowling from India. But then that off color was also darkened by, you can say, by India's or the Bumrah being tired or whatever. So all in all, they were batting like a proper test batsman should bat, seeing off the hard balls earlier, then capitalizing on it, and then you just put the bowlers down. So that's what they did. Then again, the second point I would refer to, which I would connect to the when I was starting to say that you figure out the weaknesses of the batsman, and over this time, you've already seen that Travis Head is always troubling. And again, I would go back to Ashwin's exclusion from this. That okay, there's one guy who troubled him, then you bring him back, unless you have a set plan for him. Of course, they're trying to figure out. It's not working because of Travis Head's geniuses. But all in all, he's looking very solid. He's always positive. That's what he has said also in the post-match interview, that he looks to be positive all the time. That's the best thing. That's what the test batsman should possess, that quality. So how difficult the opponent might make it for you, but you should always be in a positive mindset that you will overcome that. And it doesn't matter if you're scoring 1 run or you're scoring boundaries. It's always like the clarity of the thought in your head that you're doing well. Go with that confidence, and that's what he's doing, and that's why he's scoring every single time. There are bowlers like Bumrah, there are Siraj, Akashdeep, Rana, and spinners like Jaddu and Ashwin. They are world class bowlers, but they are not able to overcome him because of his positivity. That's what I would say.
Fair enough, right? Obviously, that's what a Head can do, and what he's been doing over the last probably a couple of years, right? Like I call it the purple patch, and you can't put a foot wrong at the moment. But maybe a quick word on Steven Smith. Personally, like seeing him, right? Someone used to bat at number 7, came in as a leggy who is able to bat, and now today, he's like the second, highest tons for Australia. He's right behind Ricky Ponting. He's on 33. He just passed Steve Waugh yesterday, the legend of the game. Maybe a quick word on him. Obviously, he had his challenges as well before coming into this test, and obviously he got over it. Like you guys called out, right? He bought his time. The first 50 was really slow, but then once he kind of found his feet, I think you can see like especially his straight drives visible, like he actually is confident now. So maybe a quick word on Steve Smith as well. Pang, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So definitely, like we did talk about, what Steve Smith needs to do. And and I told you, like, even in the pink ball, right? He was there, like, he played those 50-60 balls. Even in Perth, the second innings, he played those 60. So he had that confidence, right?
Sure.
That it was just that runs, and definitely, like, the pitch was a bit difficult, Perth one, and the pink ball definitely had the lacquer and the swing. But he's back there, right? He did something well. He played those 60-70 balls. So, that confidence is that, okay, I can survive. It's not like he just comes in and he's getting a duck and, he's just walking across. So he knew what he was doing, right? And he just continued with it, right? And I'm like, brilliant, man, because the way his career is, from a leg spinner, from 7, then he even opened for Australia, the very few players after scoring some 30 odd tons, put their hands up and then go up, and to open up, right? So that shows that, he's also a team player as well, right? It's not only about stats and scoring those runs, right? So that gives him, and that brings a bit of positivity, when you are a team player, right? It's not only about, like, I want to stay in number 4, number 5 and just bat where I've scored runs. He went up the order, came down. Happy for him, man. He really played well. And from ball 1, he was leaving the ball, he was seeing the ball very closely. There were a few close calls, and as I told you, right, the Akashdeep ball, which dropped in gully and slips. So he was playing with soft hands. It was not like trying to punch the ball or, like, straight drives. Initially, he was just trying to take those singles, walking across. So yeah, brilliant. That's what Steve Smith is about, right? Now it's depends now what the Indian bowlers would do, but hats off to him, man. And brilliant score. And good to see him back,
Yeah.
actually. So now the test series gets interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. And for over the years, he has been able to do this. I would give one example very quickly for, from this series as well, why he's the greatest and why he's able to perform over and over again and why he's such a team player. After the loss of the first test, when they came back on in the pink test, if you see, he was at one point he was fielding at second slip, and there was a nick of Gill's bat, I think, and it flew over the vacant third slip, and he dived. Stephen Smith, he dived, and the ball touched his hand, and then it flew off. According to me, that was not a catch, but he made it look like that was a possible catch.
Yeah,
it was absolutely brilliant. The effort he put. He's 35 years old, to still give that much to the game, and he wanted, after the first law, he wanted the team to win. He's giving everything, and that's what makes him one of the greatest players. And you can see that's why he's scoring back again here now. After a purple patch, a lean patch, he's coming back to. So that's what makes him a great player and great servant of the Australian cricket. And he will be remembered a long time. And he's still going strong, I would say.
Just to add, right, if you see in Perth, right, the first innings and second inning, his stance, he changed his stand immediately. He knew it's not going to work. I know that, like, he didn't score much runs, right? But he played 60-70 balls, right? So great players, right? They pick up, like, they don't wait for, like, next series I'm going to go and practice and I'm going to change my thing. Great players will know what they need to do at that moment, right? And you see, and then that same stance I've noticed, like, he's continued the same stance because now he knows how to face Bumrah and the swing balls, and so he's continued. He hasn't changed his stance back after that first innings, and now and the results are coming now. So he didn't get runs, but he faced those 60, 70 balls, right? So that gives confidence to a batsman, right? And then so just to give a small thing, what Amar was talking about, right? Why he's a legend and why he's great, just to add that as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Point noted, and I've been a big fan of him as well. Like how come today is, and like how involved as well. Like delivery one, when a bowler balls a good ball, he acknowledges it. It's not like he's arrogant or anything. He just goes to the bowler. Sometimes he even acknowledges it. Like
he's not arrogant. That's right.
That was a good ball. Like that's pretty good. And obviously, things happen over his career as well, and he's kind of grown out of it. And like he's definitely right up there with some of the legends of Australian cricket.
And definitely, if you acknowledge good balls, right, that means that something is wrong with your batting. You need to.
That's one way to look at it as well. Yes. But absolutely.
So that's why these guys score runs. If you're arrogant, oh, I'm going to hit him, or let the same ball come, I'm going to hit him.
Yeah.
And I'll cover drive him, or and then you will know what happens. So if you acknowledge that it's a good ball, you couldn't do much about it. So you go back, and then you again, so good players know that. Sachin used to do that as well. If you see, put his head down, he wouldn't go back to the ball at all.
Yeah, and we've seen that in the past with someone like Sachin, right? Sort of doing thing. But yeah, kind of focusing on this, right? So obviously Alex Carey, again, we talked about him in the previous podcast as well. He's a good handy number 6. He's been in great form. Playing in the off season, scoring some big runs, and then obviously yesterday's innings, new ball. That was an opportunity for India to kind of bounce back, obviously, and Bumrah did his magic. Picked those 2 early wickets, but unfortunately, Carey kind of took the game away from us in a way, scoring at again 90+ strike rate. He's still at the crease with another 3 wickets to still in the bag, 400 plus already. What would be his approach? Given while I was chatting to you guys, I quickly pulled up the weather forecast. It's 95% rain forecasting for today versus 100% tomorrow for Tuesday. But yeah, hopefully the rain stays away. But your approach, do you think from an Australia standpoint, what would they be thinking about this morning? Maybe quick runs and then get India back in the bat, or trying to play through a little longer and build let Carey do his thing?
I would say they would let Carey do his thing. But saying that, I mean, he would be batting with the lower order batsmen, and they would be trying to hit, and he would try to rotate and take the chance. Whenever the loose ball comes, he will not shy back. He will try to hit it. So take the score as much as possible, whatever you get, and then let India bat through. But again, weather is a factor. If you're saying to the 95, tomorrow 100, then I would say the weather must have moved a little bit. So I would be expecting rain tomorrow. But saying that, Carey would be looking to score as well, but also try to be on the pitch as much as possible for the other lower down the order batsmen.
Absolutely right. So probably the counter attack and try and get as many on board. So obviously that's the Australia side of things, right? Punk, really quickly, depending on how quickly things progress to tomorrow.
So I was just thinking here, right? Good, India batted batting second, right? So there's a good chance, because of the rain, is going to get a draw. So say if India was batting first and they got all out for 150, and Australia came back in second, and then they scored say 350, or maybe say 400, 450. So they had they could have just declared and made India bat, right? So as of now, it's more likely, based on what you're trying to forecast in terms of the rains coming today, and that's 3rd day and then 4th day, right? So it's likely a draw, which at the beginning of this, when we were doing the analysis, I did say because of the weather, there's good chance is going to draw, and batting second makes sense because of the weather conditions. See, there's Stark and Carey currently, I think so. They're batting, right? Both on Stark and hit. Okay, and so I see either quick wicket, okay, in the first few overs, or they're going to score those 50 to 80 runs in the first half an hour itself. right? Once they cross 450, right, then it's going to be very, very difficult because you already lost 1 day. So you're talking about 4 days. India comes back, India bats. Then it depends how long India can bat in the first innings itself. If they collapse, then you'll get a result. So the reason why I'm telling to say is like, say if this, most likely Australia is going to score 450 plus. And if there's a collapse of like, say India goes out 200 all out, right? And within that, technically it's like 2 sessions, right? In terms of, they have like,
Yeah, and very likely very likely we won't get full 4 days either. So
yeah.
that's
So
also
very likely then, they could do a follow on as well. Yeah.
So this is what I was
So,
just leaning
so
towards,
there's a
right? In
chance
terms
of a
of
follow on because no ways Australia is going to lose from here, right? So, yeah. So it's just more of like a draw from here or India loses. And that also depends on, so like say if India, even they score 200 runs, but they play for like 3 or 4 sessions, like 250 runs or something, then it's a draw. But if they score 200 runs within like, say 40, 50 overs, then there's a good chance that Australia is going to win because they will have enough time left. They can do a follow on and get India to bat
probably put India to
again.
bat.
okay. So
Australia
let
does not need
me
to bat again.
okay. Let me get you on this, Punk. How can India win from here?
So there's no chance now because the
There's
reason
no
is,
chance.
yeah,
Okay.
there's no chance because I'm just taking Dinesh's word that there's going to be rain, 100% rain on the 4th day, right?
Okay.
So you technically have that is the 3rd day, and
Yeah.
then you have the 5th day. So 2 days, right? India needs to bat. There's already 450 runs, right? If these guys like say I'm just there's a 405, say another 50 runs, 450 they declare, right?
Yeah.
They get India to bat, India collapses with 150 or you can do a follow on. There's no way Australia is going to lose from there. So you get a follow on and then you have the 5th day to get India out.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. It all depends on like how the weather kind of holds up in the next couple of days, right? But
And like
here's the
Amar,
situation for you, right?
just to add to this, we have seen this happening in the WTC final. The first one when we both of us went and watched it with New Zealand,
Yeah.
they did not bat enough, and there was enough
Yeah.
overs for New Zealand to take us out. So it's
Yes.
not about the
Yes.
runs as well. You need to bat time as well. If they
Yeah.
would have
Exactly.
batted the time out, and something similar happened with the one test match which happened in England,
Yeah.
where India told, the one test match which Bumrah came back, right? We scored 360. Again,
Yeah.
we give enough time for them to score that runs. It's so, test match is also like a game of chess, right? You score those runs, but also don't give enough chance for the opponent to, because all are good players, somebody will have a good day, right? But
Yeah.
if you are not giving them enough overs, right? If say
You
India would
can't
have
bowl them
batted
out.
another 10,
Yeah.
15
Yeah.
overs in that England one of England test, uh, no way England would have won. It would have been a draw, or they would have tried to score faster, and the good chances that India would have won again because 5 runs per over, right? So those are some calculation and permutations which India misses out when they try to go on a try to score quick runs. You also have to play time as well. So now in this scenario, it's a draw. Work on that, or you're going to lose this match, and then it's going to be very difficult for you to come back.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you kind of summed up like what I was thinking of, like in terms of my follow up, right? Let's say if Cummins made a brave call saying, look, we've got enough runs on the board, 400 is good enough for me. Let me put India into batting, like as soon as the weather holds up. Then Indian batters, Amar Bhai,
I would do that actually.
What do you want to
I
do?
I would have just taken off. I would like just play 5 overs and put India back. Just go bang bang 5 overs so that you don't have the opening batsman enough time to come prepared, right? You give
Yeah.
them the 10 minutes quick thing, so so just play for 2-3 overs just to taunt India. Play for 2-3 overs and go back. Okay, declare, come in, get India in, get them out because of the pitch also will be moisture and all that overcast conditions. You will see, and the bowlers are much better in terms of all the 3 bowlers, right? So and plus Nathan as well, and so he's too good. So Australia has a chance to win from here. It now depends on the Indian batsmen, and they've taken a long batting. We need to see them bat, right? So
that's where my follow up, right? So, or maybe I'm
yeah,
kind of leaning towards you, right? Like opener. What is going through like KL's mind, or like Jaiswal, like if given like to Punk's point, like the batted for another 5 overs, we already fielded for like in a day and a half almost. There's some tired bodies in there to come like counter like some of the swing and like some of the pace from the likes of Hazelwood and Stark. What would be your approach? What would you do?
Yeah, what I'm thinking is, following on from picking on from Punk's point, that it's a very likely draw or Australia win.
Yeah.
If I was a batsman, opening batsman going in for India, what I would say is, first of all, let's not give wickets early on.
Yeah.
We can't go after the runs scoring quickly early on. See off the conditions first. That's what even Australia did. That's what even did in this test. That's what Australia did in the pink test ball as well. So see off that first couple of hours, and then you capitalize on that. By that time, you should have a free throw front. If you survive that, then you have spent some time on the pitch. Also, you have frustrated the opening bowlers a little bit, and then you start rotating the strike. You pick up odd boundaries here and there, and that would kind of because this is a psychological game as well. That's what as thinking as Dhoni would think. Let the opposition think that you're in control. Even if you're losing, you don't let them think that they are in control. So you show them that you're comfortable. You just pick like 1 run or 2 runs, and then odd boundaries. Don't lose the control. That's what it is all about. And then later on, and the bowlers would make a mistake. The opponent bowlers would also capitalize on them as those mistakes as well. So all in all, it's like a it's a game, like a chess game, which Punk was saying, that don't show your hand early on. Don't don't look nervous. If you look nervous, the other opponent team will get over you. So first of all, don't give early wickets. Don't look fidgety. Look confident, and then the opportunity will come, and then you score runs, and then the batsman lower down the order, they can look to score quickly as well. That's one point. I would think that's what India should do if they get Pankaj scenario where couple of hours and you put in India to bat really, then that happens. But if you don't have time, then all option you have is just to hold the wicket. Don't go for a draw really.
Block it. Yeah,
that's what it will be. Yeah, exactly.
No, and like you're picking up on what Punk you highlighted, right? Obviously, you have to kind of now play for time rather than like trying to chase 400 and probably build a lead on it. So,
and just to add to that, right? So this is also like why I'm mentioning chess as well. See, they've got our bowlers on the field for like 90 plus overs. Yeah.
Yes.
We need to get their bowlers for 90 plus overs, right? So we are not this game because of the rain. There's no way, Australia, you're going to win. Okay, you make them field long.
Yeah.
Get the bowlers tired. So when you come on the next, because now you have quick 2 games coming through, right?
Yeah.
You and the main key bowlers is Cummins, Stark, and Hazelwood, right? What Cheteshwar Pujara did, like in that last series, and why I'm going to 2021 and even 18, right? He made them bowl, like and literally, if you hear Hazelwood's interview and other thing, he was like he was saying while seeing Cheteshwar Pujara right batting, it felt like I'm going to puke. I come there and that guy is just like no runs. He's just going on defending. I was going bowling and bowling. It felt like so demoralizing for the bowlers. That's what India needs to do. Demoralize them, bat long. The runs are not important, just make them like, get them bowling like for the 1995 overs on. And see, most of the Australian bowlers are like 30, 35 plus, yeah. They're on the 33, 34, round about that. So those tired legs coming to the fourth test, India has a good chance, So this
Yeah,
is
and
another
that's
strategy. You have to make them bowl.
yeah, exactly. That's a very good point because going on to the next test, you don't want the other team to have that feeling that they have walked over you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're still coming to a fight. We if you go down with a fight, giving the other team impression that, oh, we just managed it.
Yeah.
That's what it should be.
Absolutely right. So really, maybe a quick word on Australian bowlers in terms of their approach. Do you think that probably lean towards the short pitch approach that Cummins kind of picked up in the second test? Do you think they lean towards that, given the overhead conditions and obviously how much bounce Gabba generates for some of the stall bowlers?
I would say he would try. He
Mhm.
would try. If it works, he will continue with that. But there's no reason he will not try. So
Yeah.
Now, if I was in place, I would do it.
Absolutely.
I would try to hit the bowlers on the rib cage, the Indian batsmen,
Mhm.
and try to get one or two of them knocked out.
Yeah.
Injury is a concern, and if you get some key bowler, like this is a strategy which nobody opens out,
Mhm.
but it is a strategy hitting, the bouncers, especially in Australian pitches, right?
Mhm.
Getting injury is like, so they will try to do rib cage bounce, and they have the bowlers with them, and go all out, and give short spells,
Mhm.
3 to 4 overs. Australia is not going to lose from here. There's no way, right?
Yeah.
So you don't need to you don't need boundary things, right? So 400 runs, I'm just calculating here, right? 450 runs, right? You're talking about if India goes with 5 run rate, you still need 90 overs to go through.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not having that many overs, so there's nothing for Cummins to worry about at all. Like zero worry about field settings and all that. It's all attack. I would like
Probably
put
attack it.
8-1 or something
yeah,
like that, and just bounce them out. There's a more chance now for Australia to win this than anybody. Like a draw is definitely there, but I would try to get those bowlers 3-4 overs, quick bouncers, hit them on the rib cage, you know, and get few of them injured as well.
Fair enough. That's like a pure fast bowler's mindset coming from Pankaj from his heydays. Quickly, looking towards the Indian middle order, right? Obviously, Kohli, had that's tremendous, his century he scored in the first test, second innings, but unfortunately, he couldn't really capitalize on that in the first test. And then Rohit, obviously, just coming back from a short break, and obviously, he didn't really look himself in the second test. I think there's going to be a lot of focus on both of those players. Obviously, whenever India get to bat. Any thought on the how Kohli and Rohit should approach their game, Amar?
yes. When if Kohli and Rohit Sharma are batting, that means we are playing for draw.
Hmm.
That means the wickets have gone down early, and we are playing for a draw. So they have to bring in all their experience to not lose the wicket, rotate the strike, be positive, and that's what they will be looking for. I don't see for a reason that and of course, I mean, if they get a chance to bat down, later on. Say what I'm saying is openers have batted a really long time, and then they come in. Then again, they will be trying to score runs, and but yeah, if they are batting entire day, that means India's in trouble. You have to play for draw and not lose your wicket.
You think
It's going to rain today as well, right? Like
from what I'm seeing, it's like a 95% prediction of rain today, and
it's a draw, man. I don't see
yeah, absolutely right. Obviously we can't rule those conditions out, but obviously,
yeah,
things can change. That weather is not something we can control, and anything can
yeah,
happen. We might have a quick couple of hours game, and within those
Yeah.
couple of hours, a lot can happen, and we've seen that with India's batting in the past, right? So,
And cricket is, there's no certainty in cricket. You
yeah.
never know.
Good collapse.
Yeah, I mean, a hat trick comes. Who knows in the morning?
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. So really quickly, so that's obviously, I just want to mention maybe, both Rohit and Kohli can probably take a leaf out of how Smith approached the game, and
Yeah.
probably mirror him in terms of their innings and try and play it out and try and aim for that draw.
So this is the right time for him to do it, especially for Rohit. There's
Yeah,
nothing to lose here.
absolutely.
The weather conditions, right? Just take your time. Get the 60, 70, 80 balls, right? What Smith has done, he'll score runs,
Yeah,
definitely. And in Melbourne and in Sydney, it's going to be much more easier. Perth and these were the most difficult pitches. Adelaide was easy, but naturally for the pink ball. But today's list, get in. It's like a practice test against good fast bowlers.
yeah,
Just go and just relax. Just put in and just learn from Smith, right? If you want to be there, you have to work hard for each and every run you score in test matches. It's not going to be easy,
yeah.
right? And that's why it's known as test matches, right? So I agree. Kohli and Rohit, just grind it out.
Run it out and be ready for the next one.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's see how things kind of unfold. Going into day 3/day 4, depending on how much weather would allow us. But hoping some positives for both teams in this test. If not, a draw is not a bad result for either teams. Both going to the next one 1-1. But yeah, let's see how things progress in the next couple of days, right? And
Yeah,
really
I
quickly,
think so. If India wins 3-1, we still qualify.
Yeah, from a WTC standpoint, yes, absolutely.
Yes.
That's
Okay.
still,
Just
still
to
in
add
play.
to that,
I think that's
every time
pretty much open for both sides, to be honest. At this stage,
yes,
I think
both
it's pretty much
sides. Yeah,
open for
yeah.
both sides because Australia have that series against Sri Lanka as well, so anything can happen. But yeah, that's still open, right?
Yeah.
Really quickly, yeah. Before we wrap up, I just want to give a quick shout out to Gukesh. Now that you mentioned a couple of times about chess and what happened over the last few days. This young Indian, probably the youngest to win a world champion. A quick shout out to him. Quite impressed with.
Dinesh, what were you doing when you were 18?
When I was 18, I don't think I can share that here, but I was feeling focused on a couple of things at the time.
Yeah.
Just
No,
just like you guys, we were all kind of chasing the same dreams.
yeah. Every few decades, you need some world
Chasing.
champions to come up, right? So that the next
Yeah.
generation is inspired, like with Vishwanath, right? Vishy. And he's put some picture on X as well, with Gukesh and Pranesh, the other person as well, about
Yes.
and so it's quite interesting, so he does those workshops for young kids,
Yeah.
and you see all these things takes time, right? But you have another world champion, then you will see the younger kids again picking up the sport. And same thing with cricket, and with as long as we win medals, we win tournaments, you will see younger guys imitating their heroes, and then they try to get that for us. So yeah, congratulations to him and his family, man. Brilliant and good for India as well.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
big congratulations. Just to close off my comment, I would say that tomorrow, Rohit Sharma would be thinking, what would Gukesh do in this situation? That's what he will be thinking.
Chess match. He needs to.
You used to counter Pat Cummins now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to add to that, on the other side, New Zealand is doing really well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The test
Yeah,
match against, so
yeah,
the 340 in lead. I most probably looks like they might get the match.
Yeah,
So it's gonna
I
be
think it's
2-1
going to be a good consolation, given
for
how
Saudi. Yeah.
the first, and especially for someone like Team Saudi, who's played
Yes,
last test.
absolutely.
Yeah, as things stand, they're leading by 340. They still have 70 wickets in hand. It's only day 3, so yeah, there's definitely going to be a result out of this. And England might obviously change their approach and try and see what they'll have to chase in the next couple of days. But yeah, let's hope things kind of work out in the Black Caps' favor, given now both teams are out of the WTC contention. Perfect. Thank you for your time again. I know it's been a long day. Obviously, we obviously have other jobs to kind of manage as well, starting tomorrow, Monday. But I'm still looking forward to day 3. Hopefully, the weather stays dry and we have some cricket tonight. I'm kind of rooting for India to really bounce back, but also at the same time, I don't want to take anything away from Australia head, and especially Steve Smith. Kudos to them, the way they batted and how they overcame some of the feedback they received post test 1.
Yeah.
Right. Have a good night, guys.
Cool, man.
See you guys.
Hasta la vista.
And for everyone, obviously, now viewers, just want to close it out by saying personal opinions. The intention is not to offend anyone in any way. It's just our personal opinions, something we'd like to share. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section. If you haven't subscribed, we are Wrong Ones Podcast, the only podcast for cricket. We're new. We just shared in our own opinions, but it would be like to hear some feedback from you guys as well. Thank you for your time again. Have a good night. Cheers.